Hey guys, how's it going? It's Tanev here. Welcome to episode number 2 of this NHL 22 Draft to Glory franchise mode with the Newfoundland Growlers. If you guys have missed the first episode, go down below. There will be a link in the description to that episode. And if you do enjoy this episode, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and hit notifications to never miss these uploads. So, last episode, we got through pretty much the entirety of the 2021/22 season. We finished with a 21, 46, and 15 record, easily the worst in the league. Like, it wasn't even close. And yeah, 57 points. St. Louis was actually pretty close too, but we'll see what happens there as far as the draft lottery goes. And again, awards pretty standard. I think I showed you guys this last episode, but again, just go back and check it out. So today we get into the draft lottery. We get into the 2022 NHL Entry Draft, and well, hopefully we win the lottery here. So let's see what happens, and we move from 1 to 3, so we immediately start off by getting screwed by the lottery. So that's 2 times now that we've moved down in position from the lottery into draft. So that sucks because, we are the worst team in the league, no question, and we really could have used a center like Wright or even Matthew Savoie. So with that in mind, I want to show you guys something here as far as what I'm thinking for game plan for this draft now that we don't have a shot at Wright or Matthew Savoie. So I think Brad Lambert would be a great pickup, but at the same time, we are playing as Newfoundland, right? So do we really want Finnish stars coming over? I mean, Lambert is, Finnish/Canadian kind of. So, we could still draft him even though he is Finnish. But I wanted to say Conor Geekie. 59 goals, 80 assists in just 71 games. He was 3 points off of 2 points per game in the WHL in his draft year. Like, that is pretty insane. I kind of think that if we pick him up, yes, he's going to take a year or two to develop, and this team won't be as good for those couple of years for it, but he outscored Matthew Savoie, who's going to go second overall with 107 points, just because he's slightly higher overall in ratings. So I'm really thinking that going with Conor Geekie might be the move here. So we'll see. I'm not exactly sure who we're going to take. We don't have any real power forwards yet on this team. Looks like Chara, Weber, Kessler, Filppula, and Nielsen all call it quits as far as kind of big name retirees go. So overall, not really a crazy retiree class, apart from Chara, who probably could have kept playing, to be completely honest. But, when a guy calls it quits, that's it for his career. You can't really go back on it. So, looks like, okay, we didn't have any coaches retire, which is good. But I think we're pretty much ready to go here. I think I am going to go with Conor Geekie, just based on the fact that he is a massive power forward, and if we keep building size into this team, it's only going to be a matter of time before we're able to go on some deep playoff runs, because overall, we do have a couple smaller players, but like Bush is 6'4", Nicholson's 6'3". Hopefully we'll be able to snag a decent goalie here coming up, like as far as potential goes, because we are going to need some of those coming up. But we've got some picks here. We're still picking high. We're picking at number 3, and we are probably going to go off the board. But I also have some other playmakers and guys like that pinned who are hopefully going to really, aid this team in becoming better. But we are going with a lot of big players here in this draft. So got my list kind of lined up already. Oh, of course, New Jersey wants to trade their pick too, because why wouldn't they? Edmonton's got, yeah. Oh man, so many teams want to move down in the draft, which is frustrating because there's a lot of good players coming up here. So let's get into this. We're picking number 3 overall, and the first 2 picks, without a doubt, go as Wright and Matthew Savoie. So with those 2 in mind, we probably should be going with Brad Lambert just based on the fact that he's NHL ready. Even Kamel, but there's a lot of guys that, look really good as players, but I am going to take the risk here, and we're going to go with the big power forward in Conor Geekie instead. I know he's not going to be as good. He's still 75 overall, and I've got high expectations for him as far as, no, he's not going to be playing in this team for the first season, but he just scored 139 points in 71 games. So that's the guy we're going with. I'm really hoping he can turn into something of somewhat of a monster here coming up. But yeah, 77. So we missed out on a couple slightly better players in Kamel and Lambert, but I'm okay with that because we get a bigger player. So looking at the rest of this draft, lots of good players. Kabosari's not bad. Apart from that, Edmonds, 75 overall. My goodness. Matthew Ward goes to Tampa Bay. Okay, so next up here, we are going off the board, and I'm kind of torn between two players. Whether I want to go with Eugene Edwards because he's a 1-year ETA as well, or if I want to go with Vikingstad, who's a 2-year ETA, but guaranteed has a zone ability pretty much. So I'm going to go with Edwards just based on he is a little bit bigger, and we probably need another kind of top 4 defenseman here. And I can't really tell yet. We don't have a full scouting report back on him, but I think he's going to be top 4, and he is, he's 72 overall. Okay, so, all right, so moving on to pick number 67 now, and instead of taking, what was his name, Vikingstad? 76 overall, so still a really decent center, but, all right, for our next pick here, we're going to go with a goalie, Yuri Vorobyev. He is Estonian, I believe, but 18 years old, hopefully going to be elite, and he is. Sweet, okay. So, pick 67, we got high expectations for him. Again, he's 6'2", going to be a decent-sized goalie, and let's see what else we missed out on instead of Vorobyev. So, not a lot to start. Pearsons is nice. He's 18 as well, so he could be decent in the future. Apart from that, McCallum's a medium 6. And, all right, that was pretty much it. So, after that, I've got Korchinski tagged here. I don't know if we're taking him over... who else was I going to take? I actually kind of wanted to go off the board because, yeah, I've got this Heinonen guy pinned. He is 19, but he's a low elite. But I wanted to go with Rodin because he's a 6'2" playmaker, and he's also low elite. So I'm going to take him because he's 18, and he's 50 overall. Okay, so that's a really decent pick. So Thomas Rodin, keep an eye on him. He could turn into something special in a couple of seasons. Obviously, he's like a 5-year ETA, but how good was... Ruutu is decent, but he's 19. See, Korchinski, I knew he was top 4. Suhonen is, again, a decent player. Where's this low elite, though? Did he even get picked? Oh, yeah, he did. Heinonen. Okay, 56 overall, so 6 ratings higher in 1 year. Honestly, I think we can grow Rodin more than that, but we'll see here. So, with the next pick, got another playmaker. This guy looks really good. Jyrki Pitkanen. 2-year ETA. He is 19, but low elite guaranteed again. We have to go with him. And he is a 70 overall. Oh my goodness, he's the 3rd highest rated player we've drafted so far. And we picked him in the 5th round. Okay then. So keep an eye on Pitkanen. Really decent playmaker. He will be playing in the AHL this upcoming year. Simply based on the fact that he's good enough to play there. So after that Pitkanen pick, which is a very good pick again, I'm going to go with... Morozov's a little smaller. I don't know if he's actually going to be decent. I want to take the risk with Brodin here. Because we've got Rodin and Brodin, which, again, you get 2 6'2" Swedish left wingers. That's really going to solidify your left side. And, okay, he's medium, or low 6 power forward, so not quite as good as I was hoping. Again, I was hoping he'd be a low elite, but how much better was this Morozov guy? I bet you he was okay, no, he's a low 4. Okay, so I mean, we've already drafted a really good defenseman in Edwards, plus Edwards is just bigger, so I'm all right with that. Power forward, he's probably not gonna make it too far as making the NHL, but we're taking a defenseman here with this last pick. I know he doesn't necessarily fit the scheme, but Hudson Jeffrey looks decent. Is he low elite? No, he's not. Okay, so he's a low 4 again, but not bad for a 7th round pick. I can't complain about that. And well, who knows how the rest of the 7th round went, but overall, I'm pretty happy with that draft. Pitkanen's an absolute steal at pick 133. Edwards could turn into a really good defenseman eventually too, and yeah, I'm happy with that. It's a good potential draft to start off this episode. So as we hit the second off season, I am just going to take a look at who are pending free agents that could be like undrafted potentially here. So, I mean, right off the bat, lots of guys are drafted, but okay, are we really going to do this? I'm just trying to figure out who is actually undrafted out of this group. Drysdale might be an RFA, really. Okay, so yeah, Caggiula, obviously we're going to want to re-sign. He's on our team right now. How about Trevor Moore? We could try to pick him up. He would be decent. And then apart from those guys, is Bunting drafted? Yeah, he is. But apart from those guys, I would say Achari will want to re-sign, obviously. And there's not really a ton of potential as far as new players go, but so yeah, unfortunately this draft or this group of free agents coming up doesn't feature too many players that we will necessarily need to pursue, which is okay. Like, I mean, we will probably just do some contract fillers again with certain players here, but like Caggiula is going to want a decent payday, so we'll definitely offer him like $4 million for the next 3 years because he's playing well. You can't deny that. Nicholson will definitely be in the NHL this upcoming year. Glendening and Achari don't want to play for us, but at the same time, again, we can offer filler contracts for certain players here, so I think maybe we do like a $16 million contract, maybe even 17 for Glendening, because again, a lot of these guys don't necessarily need that much money, but we just got to fill it so that the contracts don't get inflated. So we'll finish off a bunch of these re-signings here. Dylan Coughlin? Yeah, Dylan Coughlin is worth at least $2.5 million a year, and we're going to start playing him in the NHL this upcoming year. Most of these guys can get like $2.5 million. It's a pretty decent price, considering we are just in the market of trying to keep our players currently. So, offer Derek Ryan a max two-way. Nosek and Gambardella don't necessarily want to play for us, which is understandable. See, Geekie is almost good enough that we could sign him and have him playing, so is that what we want to do? He's an other forward, so I think we're going to let him sit for one more season, see what he can do. If he doesn't put up a better stat line in junior, then we will sign him regardless, but if he does put up an even better stat line, perfect. And then guys like Edwards and Pitkanen are not really well fit for playing in like full-blown men's leagues over in Europe because we can't manage them. So I think that's why we are going to sign just about everybody here except for Conor Geekie. So I know you guys are probably looking at this like, why aren't you signing Conor Geekie? We want him to develop in junior. I want him to just tear up the junior leagues here. So that is the goal as of right now. I think we're going to release McNiven, maybe? That might be the play here. So, and let me just hold off on Francouz as well and see how much money we still have to spend here. So, Derek Ryan rejected. Okay. Just about everybody else joins. So, that's good to see. Do find it kind of interesting that Derek Ryan rejected that when, you know, we can easily offer him like $2 million. You know what? Maybe we do sign Conor Geekie and give him a shot. Again, he's actually a pretty good-looking player, and maybe we can, you know, actually get his growth jump-started. So, offer $1.5 million for Francouz for the next 2 years. Again, decent contract. He should be taking that. And all right, Geekie joins. Alright, so I think we're going to buy out. We'll leave McNiven, but he's not going to get any playtime, and I'll let Vorobyov develop, hopefully, as long as he actually, gets playtime. If he's not getting playtime, we'll sign him throughout this season. So, sim to free agency. Hopefully find somebody decent here besides Trevor Moore, but likely that won't be the case. So Trevor Moore is only $2.6 million, not bad. We'll offer him $3 million. And apart from that, is Janmark drafted? Yeah, he is. How about Kiefer Sherwood? Well, sure. We can go get him. Okay. So we'll offer those two guys contracts. Apart from that, I don't think we really need too many other players on this team. We are going to be making sure that Conor Geekie's up and playing in the league here, but do we get Trevor Moore? We do. And okay, so we did not get Kiefer Sherwood there, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to sim to the next season because there's not really too much else to do here. Again, overall, you look at this team, there was some decent growth from certain players, but we're just going to need to see even more of that as we continue on here. I mean, Pitkanen, Bush, Spruev, like so many of these guys just shot up in rating. And then we had other guys, again, like Conor Geekie, who just didn't grow even though he literally dominated the WHL. So, all right, let's get to this next season, get the team set up, and then get into another sim. Alright guys, so this year, this is the team that we are working with. It's not good, but that's okay, because again, we're trying to aim for a top draft pick and a player like Connor Bedard, potentially. So, we've got Conor Geekie here on the bottom line. We're going to try to get him to develop into an insane power forward here pretty quickly, so that would be nice. If that works, I doubt it will, but you never know. So, we've got Taylor Nicholson, who is going to be playing second pairing minutes with Dylan Coughlin because those guys were both just fantastic in the minors last year. So hopefully they'll give us a little bit of a boost. We've got Georgiev and Francouz in net. And then down in the minors, this is the defensive group we're going with. Again, we've got Eugene Edwards there playing top minutes. And then apart from that, Pitkanen looking really good. Maybe we'll even try to toss him up on the first line or something, get some better chemistry going here. Maybe put Latera up there too. I like that. I think we could get this lineup looking even better still. So let's see if I just play around with this a little bit, if we can get some of these guys like Rodin and Brodin in and guys like that. That would hopefully make a decent difference. Spruev I'm going to play further up, and okay, he fits well there. He's not great. Okay, so we can go Brodin and Blacker can play further up in this lineup potentially. All right, so the forwards are improved a bit more there. Hopefully we'll see Pitkanen turn into something decent here. I think I am going to start him a little bit further down in the lineup just for now, and hopefully he can... actually, no, we'll probably nerf him by doing that. So he's playing with Latera and Gambardella, so hopefully he can develop too. If he turns into an elite playmaking center, that would help out this team so much. So that's what we're looking at. Silvegaard and Copley in net there in the minors, and then we've got some decent scratched players too. So that's what we're working with. The team's not going to be anything special this year, I can guarantee that. But again, Bedard, Michkov, this Denisov guy must be good if he's in between Fantilli and Michkov, because Michkov is a franchise player and Fantilli is a high elite, because again, I have created these players. So keep an eye on some of these guys here, because Denisov looks decent. Best goalie in the draft is Noah Valley. Makes sense, right? So, all right, let's get to this season sim. I mean, we'll simulate to, well, not the regular season, just simulate up to this first preseason game and just see what we're working with for a team here. It's obviously going to be nothing special, but 82, 83, 82. Okay, not terrible, but still going to need some work, and that's Taylor Nicholson right there, if you guys don't recognize him. But yeah, this will be an interesting year. Alright guys, so this year the Growlers finish with a, 26-51 and 5 record. Yet again, 457 points. Easily dead worst in the league, and it's not even close. This year we do get slightly better production from a guy like Vatrano, as well as a few other players here. Like Conor didn't do too bad. He finished with 31 points. Nicholson with 24, so not bad. There was some growth there, but yeah, overall this team is still just abysmal, and they're going to be until we can actually land some like number one kind of talent. Yes, we landed Geekie this episode, but I'm really hoping that we can land Bedard. That would be huge. So apart from that, the entire league's looking like this as far as McKinnon leads the league. They're just barely beating out McDavid, very close in the scoring race. McDavid was putting goals in the net like crazy. Even beat out Austin Matthews, but that's forwards and kind of just the entire league. Again, Dougie Hamilton just goes off. He is having just an insanely productive career here in New Jersey. Like, he is a point per game as a defenseman in New Jersey. That's crazy. Blackwood has a great year. Oh my goodness, 44 wins. That's crazy. Your best rookie skater this year is Bobby Brink. Not bad. Matthew Beniers has a great year too. Lots of guys there having good years as rookies. Ooh, Jack Quinn up to a medium elite as well is pretty decent. Ivan D. Morozov there, really looking good. Marco Rossi, Tyler Boucher, yeah, lots of guys here. Shane Wright only puts up 43 points in Nashville. I feel like he would have probably been even more productive on our team, just because we would have set him up well. But Conor Geekie still gets 31, even though he's a minus 20. So yeah, that's the league. As far as the actual league goes this year, the New Jersey Devils would win 56 games and get 121 points to win the Presidents. And of course, we'd be on the exact opposite end of that, beating out the Rangers, Capitals, Red Wings, Canadians by like dozens of points. And unfortunately this year, our AHL team would not make the playoffs, so we are going to continue simming ahead here. We're going to get to the draft and I guess just really the lottery and see where we end up. Alright, so this year Anaheim and Tucson win the championships. Interesting. Alright, so this year in the playoffs, Anaheim would end up going through Calgary, Vancouver, Colorado, and Carolina to win the cup. And in the AHL, Tucson would beat Stockton, Ontario, Pacific Palm Springs, and Providence. Providence was the regular season champions, so good on Tucson. As far as awards go this year, New Jersey would win the Presidents, Anaheim and Carolina would win the divisional titles, and the Stanley Cup would go to Anaheim. McKinnon would win the Art Ross, Pasternak would win the Hart, Dougie Hamilton would win the Norris, Pasternak would get the Lady Byng, Kent Johnson would win the Calder this year, Hampus Lindholm would be your Conn Smythe winner, John Gibson would win the Vezina, as well as the Jennings, Noah Juleson would win the Masterton, St. Louis's coach Cork there would win the Jack Adams, the Selke would go to Crosby, Pasternak would win the Lindsay, and McDavid would win the Rocket. Alright, so just looking at the draft class coming up here, guys, and I wanted to show you a couple of the players. Obviously, we're looking at Bedard or Michkov. I would love to get one of those guys. But apart from that, I have picked out a good-looking defenseman here in Tersunbayev, who looks like he's NHL ready, so hopefully we're going to be picking him up. Apart from that, Malikov looks like a high elite. He might be a high starter, but that's still good. Along with that, I did find what looks to be like a steal coming up here again. This time a Russian one, preferably. Yeah, and Morozov. He's 2-year ETA, hopefully going to fit our system well. And he's a big defenseman. Yes, he is 19, but again, I would love to try and pick him up. Apart from that, not too much else really left in this draft, so we'll see. But it should be an interesting draft class. You know, we got Markstrom pinned there, but we'll see. And just looking at our progress reports here as well, you know, we saw some decent growth from certain players. Pitkanen and Nicholson have really taken off, and I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do. Pitkanen's going to be NHL ready here. And apart from that, we don't have too many other really young players on the team, like Coghlan, unfortunately, didn't grow very well. besides that, Bush grew up to a 72 overall, so that's not bad. Vorobyov shot up to a 60 from what was a... What did we draft him at? Vorobyov was a 47, so he shot up 13 ratings. And along with that, Geekie went up about 4 ratings, and that's really about it. Brodin, unfortunately, didn't grow too much. Even Rodin, again, just not really a lot of growth there. So it would be nice to land a couple more steals coming up here, and even like Edwards too. You know, plays 82 games, 15 points, good ice time, doesn't get any growth. So I don't understand how the game works sometimes, but that is what we're looking at. So that's where we're going to wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to go down below, drop a like, subscribe, and hit notifications. And also don't forget to leave comments. But that is going to be it for this one. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time.